Hi. Well, we know that we are going to use this. We learned how to use this today, but some of you will forget by the time we do it next time. So I'm going to quickly go through what I did today so you can refer to it. All right. We've opened a spreadsheet and I've suggested you go to your science folder on your Google Drive and then open a Google Sheet. Now, I've also suggested to you one of the things we can do, and I'm going to show you some of these things again when we're setting up. Now, I'm going to make this quicker than I did in class. If I want something to be consistent all the way through all of these, they're called cells, but they look like boxes, then I can go to here, the top left-hand corner. If I click it, it all turns blue. Now I'm going to ask it throughout my whole of this setup, I want it to make sure that I wrap the text so that it doesn't go from one of the boxes over the next one. So no rewrite, it looks terrible. So all we do is do that. Now I've told the program that anytime I type something in there, no matter how much I type, it's going to fit it in a box. Right, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up so that in the columns, I'm going to be in the center. All throughout here, I'm going to have everything appear in the center of the columns. And to make sure it's even better, I'm going to have everything appear in the center of the rows. Now keep in mind, columns are our letters of the alphabet, they're verticals, rows are horizontal, down over here. All right, now when we actually start away from the corner. Don't do that, because if you make a mistake or have to add something later on, it's a lot easier if you've got a bit of space here. So I'm going to start off in here. Now I've already told the three things I want it to do, and it will do these things for me. Now we're doing a thing at the moment which is testing how my heart rate changes as I do star jumps, jumping jacks. All right, so in that I'm going to change the number of jumping jacks I do, or change the time I do. So I'm going to put in here, because in our first column, the first thing we type in is our independent variable. Now our independent variable in this one is the time I am doing jumping jacks. And what I'm going to do, apart from make sure that my typing is correct, is I've got to add a unit, and it's in seconds, of course. Now here is a problem I have. At the moment, if I just hadn't have done what I did to start off with, it would just leave that exactly like that once I've hit enter. But because I've asked it to fit everything into the box, it does that for me. Now, then I suggested we actually put this through here. So I'm actually, instead of calling it 0 this time, I'm going to call it resting heart rate. I'm not going to put in the heart rate there, I'm just going to put resting. And then I'm going to say, right, I know I have to have at least 5 different settings for my independent variable. Resting is 1, then I can have 15 seconds. I don't have to write S because it's already done. 30 seconds, 45 seconds. And if I wanted to, I could stop at 60, but I might keep going. And I've done with you, we've kept going till 90. So I've set up my independent variable. Now I know what I'm doing. I've told the people how many times or how long they're going to be doing this exercise, and we are going to set up. Now we know that we always check our results, and we call those trials. So I'm just going to put trial 1 here. Now notice it goes in the center, both horizontally and vertically. Now I showed you, and just to remind you, if I want to copy and drag things easily, I can grab the corner and go there. Now I want 3 trials, and it automatically will fix that up for me. Now I then want to, because it's a better indication of the value, is the thing called the average. So I have set up this, but unfortunately I haven't told anyone what these mean. All I've said is they're trials. I haven't said what they're trials about. But they're all about the same thing, so I could write it here, and then write it here again, and write it here again, and write it here again, because all these numbers are about the same thing. So why not highlight those 4 things and make that go from being 4 boxes into 1 box, or 1 cell. So what I'm going to do is come up here, and I'm going to hit this one called merge cells. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to say this is my heart rate, and it's measured in beats per minute, or BPM, which is quite good. Okay, so I've got that now. So now I know my dependent variable, or what I'm measuring, is the heart rate. I'm using the heart rate monitors. I'm going to do 3 trials, and then I'm going to average them. The average is, of course, our best indication of what the real value might be. But we've got this ugly box here, which has got nothing in it. So the easiest option is for us to join those 2 together. We like our table to be neat and tidy. It looks better. You are taking pride in what you're doing. So I'm going to merge those cells together. Whoops. Look what's happened. Now the thing, when it's set up, is all of the widths of my rows, all the heights of my rows is the same. So it reverts back to the same height. Now I don't want that to happen, so I'm going to look at the 2 things are in row 3 and row 4. I'm going to highlight both of them, and then I'm going to try to make them evenly spaced again, but I'm going to make them bigger. So I go down to the bottom of row number 4, and I grab it, and I just drag it a bit. And it makes row 3 and 4 identical in height. Alright, now I can easily read. I know now that if I'm looking at column B, or the first column, I have my independent variable. I know what it is. I know what my values I'm going to use are. Over here, I've got my dependent variable. I've got the trials, and I've got the average, because I know all these numbers that are going to appear below trial 1 are about heart rate, measured in beats per minute. The same for 2, the same for trial 3, and the same for the average. They're all done the same way. Now, this thing, the beauty of a spreadsheet, no matter how many things I do, it is going to be the same. It is going to be, I can set it up so it will do exactly what I want it to do by just doing the same sort of activities I'm going to do today. But before I do that, I'm only going to have a couple of numbers. I want a maximum of 3 numbers in each one of these columns. Column C, column D, column E, column F. I'm only going to have 3 numbers, so I don't need it to be that wide. So let's make it a bit smaller. So I highlight, and then just drag it in this time, not drag it out like I did with the rows. I'm going to drag it in. So it makes all of those columns the same. Now, hold on. How about, because I've got my partner there as well, how about I also record theirs? So I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to make, first of all, I'm going to just do this. I'm going to make that, and I'm going to join those to make 1, just like I did before. All right, so I'm going to go there. I'm going to merge those. I'm going to copy this, Control C. I'm going to paste it. Now, I'm going to do the same with these. I'm going to copy them. I'm going to paste them. So now I've got 2 identical sets of things, where one is for me, where I could have mine in the first one in C, D, E and F, and my partner could be in G, H, I and J. Now, it's going to look ugly if I leave them all with different sized column widths, so I'm just going to highlight all of them. So now I'm saying I want all the columns between C and J to be the same width. So I'm just going to go through there, and lo and behold, it does it for me. Now, one of the bugbears is having to do calculations by hand. A spreadsheet will let me do it all in one go. So here's how we do it. We go to the spot where we want the answer to be. And then we type in equals. Now, here it says I'm trying to work out an average. So I'm just going to type in AVER, and it says average. And I then highlight, and notice it goes orange, the ones I want. Close the bracket, close it. Now it tells me I can't do this, or it doesn't understand because there are no numbers there. As soon as I start putting numbers in, it will be fine. So I'm just going to now take this and drag it down. So now the 15, row number 6, is going to do that for trial 1, trial 2, trial 3, and put it in the F number 6. The same for row number 7, the same for row number 8, and all the way down to row number 11. Now, because I want my partners to be done as well, I'm going to do the same here. I go again to average, but this time I only highlight his or her version of what's going on. I do that. I do exactly the same thing. And so now I've got two things. The only addition I need to do is to write the name of the person who is going to be the numbers for C, D, E and F, and then I would type that into the heart rate box. Right? And I would type the other person's name into the heart rate box that goes from G, H, I and J. Now, that's fine. So now I just want to finish making my table, and I go down and I go to the thing that looks like a window, borders, and I choose the one which has got all the crisscross and the outside borders. Put it in. There is my table. It is ready to go. As soon as I start typing trial data in there, it will do the calculations for me. Now, because we're doing heart rate, I would suggest to you we are measuring to whole numbers, so we average to whole numbers. And up here, there are two very, very nice ones. If it averages out to more than whole numbers and gives you decimal places, you can come up and by hitting this one, which has got 0.0 on it with an arrow going left, it will decrease the number of decimal places till you have none. So I would highlight that, then come up and use that to fix that up. This will save you so much time. Right, I'll do more next time about how we can have a graph made of all this.